So without further ado, let's get ready to hop back in with Grug MD. Should we? Or shall we, rather? Of course, at the moment here, our bound soul was a 5-headed Hydra. It's an okay attachment. At least they get a lot of the drain effect hitting. But we'd like to switch them out, preferably find ourselves like another unique that has a lot of summons. Could be nice. But of course, we just cleared out Layer 5 here, so it's probably about time that we head into our S branches, probably starting with Swamp. We have Swamp and Spider. Neither are great. On the Swamp side of things, we don't have Resist Fire, so we're going to have to be very careful with the... I'm blanking on their name right now, but of course our Foxfire friend who spawns in those sons of guns. But otherwise should be alright. At some point we need to fix up our resistances in general here, because having no willpower to speak of, no resist fire, and no Arlec does not bode especially well for our future here. But now's the time to potentially rectify that. Let us call our one friend here, and then I guess we just head down. Nothing to do but just jump right back into the mix here. And away we go. I don't need a corrosive frog. There we go. At least our ghost pal and I can both do some work here. I guess the main question becomes, should I immediately light my torch? We've already explored a tiny bit of the floor here, but only one enemy is not that much wasted piety quite yet. Well, let's do it. We'll light it up here. Oh, right. Oh, this is always the issue with taking a week off, is you forget some of the little things. I'm gonna try to just walk away. I was pretty sure we'd do alright, if just because we have a lot of bodies to put in the way here. Okie dokie. Let us rest for a bit here. It's not worth the wraiths to go into the rest of this area damaged. Okay. Sorry, getting a bit distracted by things here. I'm hoping that we don't have too many issues here today, but unfortunately, both my brain cells and my internet have been struggling for most of this morning and afternoon, so no promises, of course. But not seeing anything too crazy yet here. Specifically, I'm again on the lookout for a new soul to bind and bring over to our side. But I guess we shall have to just hope the future floors have something to bring to bear in that department. And yeah, pretty tame, quiet Swamp 1. I guess at the end of the day, that's kind of what we want to see here, especially coming back to a run after a week off. Gives me time to get the ball rolling here again, get back into the groove. Alright, we do have our Vampiric Battle Axe. Again, I think I'm happy to keep the shield for now. Of course, shield has solid defenses in general, but on top of that, big bonus for us is the cold resistance for any more bog bodies that may or may not show their faces here today. Okie dokie. Decent little start here. I think as soon as we run into a half-decent threat, this is where we definitely wish to phone in some friends. I guess a Mighted Dragon maybe does actually fit the bill here. So let's light the torch, shall we? They'll get taken care of pretty dang quickly, but now we can run in with all of our friends. We're not too damaged. I mean, it's not ideal for sure. But there we go. It all becomes worth it when we have all of them around to deal with the Vine Hunter here, or the Thorn Hunter, I guess. Fantastic. And I guess we've almost lost our friends anyway, so there's maybe something to be said for stopping and actually healing up. You know, taking the time to recover between encounters here. Not too shabby. And keep going through our consumables with these ID scrolls as well. Fantastic. Go get them, tigers. Really nice against the swamp worms here. Normally, they're not exactly a huge detriment to our continued survival, at least not on their own. But definitely fantastic to have a bit of recourse for not being pulled into nastier positions. But okay, our powers combined, even a tentacled monstrosity here, not the end of the world. A six-headed hydra. Technically, it is an upgrade from what we're working with here, but I think we won't bother throwing away everything in the kitchen sink just for one more hydra head. An 8-headed hydra now? Maybe some credence there. But just give me a brief moment. Okie dokie. Oh, well, I guess nothing to do but just continue forward. I'll light a black torch for a hydra pal here. Not really necessary by any means, but again, as long as we don't run into something truly frightening in the next few moments here, then it's not a big deal for us to bring those in early. And there we go. We got, I think Invocations is probably our last skill on. This is something that I probably should have double checked in on when we first started stream here today, but that is fine by me. Decent invo. Where do we wish to go next? Potentially more spellcasting. I do believe that we had brought Martyr's Knell into our spell list, but it's still at a pretty high failure rate. Maybe just for the moment here, let's put on regular spellcasting. That -2 aptitude, you know, it's not exactly gonna make solid progress here, but still in the low levels, so not too bad overall. And let's do that double check, shall we? So we did get Martyr's Knell at 30% failure rate at the moment. I mean, it's probably a solid thing to have for any kind of pseudo-summoner, which by essence of following Yred, we are, because we have all of our zombie pals. This would help keep them alive at the very least. I guess even if it's maybe not the most optimal of choices, does kind of fit the bill with what we've got going on here. And summoning is at a 0 aptitude, so that should actually train up pretty dang quickly. Let's mark that son of a gun down and just keep on schmooving for the moment here, shall we? I would like some fear scrolls. Regular poison darts have probably outlived their usefulness at this point, so that is a fitting replacement, as it were. And I mean, so far, we're down to Swamp 3. Things are looking pretty smooth at the moment. And we haven't used a single torch throw the entire time here. I'm curious if there's something to be said for potentially interesting interactions with Bind Soul and Hydras. Specifically, it begs the question, does the outcome soul here get locked in on cast or on kill? The reason why I hypothesize this is if I cast Bind Soul on a 3-headed Hydra, and then I equip the weakest slashing weapon I have and just start cutting heads, can I try to cheese my way into like a 12 to 16 headed Hydra? It would be, for the most part, extremely dangerous. I guess on a high AC character, it's not like the additional heads actually add that much more danger to the equation. So it's an interesting thought, not something that is likely to be all in all worth the additional effort there, specifically because as much as I'm, you know, letting this Hydra play out for the time being here, I can't imagine that Hydra is a top tier choice. Again, specifically kind of biased because of our time with Nurgle. Couldn't remember our favorite orc buddy's name. Now, having Nurgle as the bound soul, just the sheer fact that they have summons made them extremely potent. And there we go. I was hoping we could somehow set this up so that we were still able to fight while letting our friends assist, and that all worked out fantastically. And we can keep tap fighting here. No, don't want to accidentally go off into the unknown completely, but at this stage it's looking like our Swamp 3 is pretty good. Hello, my friend. You are what we were concerned with coming in here. Will of the Wisp, of course. That's what you're called. Cannot believe we were blanking on that earlier, but not our best matchup there. Of course, at this stage, when it's the very last enemy you face after going through the entire floor, maybe not the end of the world for us. We're also, I just noticed, at max stars for Yred here, so hopefully we're able to start spending some of our piety here. And this is a situation where there's probably some credence to just going back upstairs now. I would think that's the right move. It might not even work because we could get harpooned from our stairwell frame 1 here. But yeah, going to our 3rd stairwell on the above floor and then taking it on from there is probably the better idea, but I'm tempted to just light the torch and fight here. Let's see if I come to regret that in any drastic capacity. At the very least, it's looking like we easily, as a crew here, clear up the starting enemies, so they do, at the very least, achieve what they were brought on for. And interesting. Mark traps, of course, become a little more detrimental here when we're not able to head back upstairs without missing out on some functionality here. I mean, it's not the best Hurl Torchlight in regards to killing enemies, but it's pretty solid for giving 4 of our friends the buff here. So let's do that, especially the buffed Hydra should be able to really take some names here. Is there any benefit to like binding you? You only have 1 attack. Grasping Roots is solid. I guess a Shambling Mangrove friend could potentially be a good defensive option. If you were running away, they'd keep constricting enemies from afar, but let's not worry overly much about that here. Spear of Distortion on you, my friend. Means that you get some special treatment. Ooh, that doesn't do as much damage as I would like. I'm also gonna Condenser Vein here. So I've got the Constriction going. We got this gosh darn Spriggan. If I get sent to the Abyss, then it's all the negatives of having left to go back upstairs without any of the, you know, the positive recovery part of that equation. So not ideal for sure. I kind of knew that the wand wouldn't do anything against the Spriggan, seeing as how they have pretty wild willpower, but it was worth a quick check in there. Yeah, as is. We could just hurl Torchlight, I guess. Let's see how much damage that does. It does immediately kill the Spriggan Rider, so not too shabby overall here. And what else? Let's start Bugle of the Fallen. And then my bound soul is still alive, but they're not actively participating at the moment. I would like to rectify that if at all possible. Ooh, a Thorn Hunter has now joined the equation. Right, this was a mark trap, not just anywhere, but on the final floor. So makes sense that we're attracting some nasty compatriots here. Hello, my friends. Well, I'm going to get back to my stairwell first and foremost. Otherwise, this is still looking fairly doable, all things considered. I am going to bring out Martyr's Knell here. Did I hit? Oh, shoot. Pressing the wrong buttons. Let's try that again. There we go. Control P, of course. I believe we miscast that. That is unfortunate. We're definitely starting to see some cracks appearing overall here as we lose out on most of our zombie forces. Of course, if we can just kill more enemies, we can pretty straightforwardly replace that. So let me try this again. Okay, Martyr's Knell actually going through this time. Fantastic. Let us then hurl Torchlight. And this might actually be the best bet to buff up our zombies below here. I was originally thinking up here, we kill the Constrictor, kill the Hornets, but let's just make it a buff. With the damage reduction coming from Martyr's Knell, I'm hoping that those Sons of Guns will stay alive a little bit longer than they otherwise would. We're also sitting at our +7 slain bonuses here. Our Martyr already did get taken out, unfortunately, but we can step back to the stairs. And only 2 more torch throws, hey? It's a shame because if the Liern and Hydra's here, we probably want to be able to might up our friends against them. But won't matter if we have to leave the floor here. Anyway, we'll lose access to the torch. So with that in mind, let's just blast right around us here. Get some solid damage in. And in fact, I could just blast again. Otherwise, let's take another look here. We engulf our surroundings in Yred's grip here. So we have to stay within the Profane Sanctuary. And all of the hostile creatures will also be bound in place. Also drains enemies, which seems powerful. I'm not sure if enemies will be able to continue walking in. Maybe this is a good test run. Let's try it out here. Okay, we do get to see the area. That's nice. I'm not sure if it will keep enemies outside the zone outside. If so, then this isn't really ideal just because I think we easily win the fight inside of our sanctuary. But I did lose my friend. Okay, Bind Soul. Oh, I don't have the magic for. Yikes. Does look like new enemies can walk in. I think some of these buddies did. And they just immediately get stuck at the outside, which I guess makes sense at the end of the day. Oh me, oh my. At some point, I probably should read a teleport scroll. I think that's currently my best option here. All things considered, it keeps our torch up. I guess we still have the mark at the moment here, but it should actually depreciate over the next few moments here. And right, our little zone shrinks down, but as long as we stay inside of it, we're still getting all of the benefits here, so that is fine by me. Dang it, we do still have the mark trap. I was hoping we'd lose it right as the teleport hit. But that is not the end of the world here, I guess. 5-headed Hydra. Welp. Guess we take you with me, my friend. Do I have any Evo training? We have 0 evocations training. Well, let us rectify that. No wonder our wands are struggling a little bit here. I don't believe we've trained throwing either, so we're honestly just in a bit of a bad spot against Hydras. And it seems like we have a bit of a theme here on Swamp 4 that just happens to revolve around just such a friend. So not ideal by any means. We'll use up way more of these blasts than I'd like just to take out you. And then at the very least, having a Hydra by our side covers a lot of our anti-Hydra bases. So that is fantastic. Ooh, I do want an Amulet of Reflection. Unfortunately, that Swamp Worm is not an ideal match for us here. Oh right, I forgot I got the Trident of the Optimus King. I saw this in my inventory and I assumed that it was just an artifact Venomancer staff. Still could, I guess, think about the change there, especially since we're still running this +0 War Axe, which is just not good. Not exactly everything you hope and dream to have by your side here. Let us throw that son of a gun on. Fantastic. We're slowly but surely rebuilding our zombie army here, especially if enemies want to keep pouring in one at a time. It is essentially the ideal format for us to work in here, so that's fantastic. Okie dokie, let's get back to rolling along here, shall we? Because just wonder, do we have any enemies in here? Okay, there was a swamp drake somewhere. Oh, they were actually outside? Fair enough. ID scroll, don't mind if I do. We do get our potions of haste identified, so that is very handy. Leather armor is unfortunately just a little bit too light for us to work with here. Okay, I don't have any fire resists, so again, I did have some concerns about those little buddies. Wait a second. Do I want a crab? We currently have a 7-headed Hydra. I thought our Hydra only had 5 heads, even this time. I know this isn't the original Hydra that we started the day with, but interesting. Maybe I did accidentally swing at it? Didn't think so, because I believe we were just throwing out our wand charges the entire time. Couldn't tell ya. Let's actually not worry too much about fighting that crab now. Again, unless I want to take it for myself, I guess. Oh, never mind. It does not possess a soul that we can bind. Fair enough. In that case, I mean, I'd probably just leave. I can tell my friends to charge the crab in question, first and foremost, I guess. You know, that does do all right here at the end of the day, so maybe we're actually in a decent position to continue exploring. It'll give us a little bit more experience, as well as treasure as we go along here.